Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
The family behind that viral social media video speaks out.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. The General Post Office will be relocated to Town Center Mall before the end of the year, ending years-long complaints from employees who have endured unsuitable working conditions. However, the Minnis administration's decision to enter a 5-year lease with mall landlords is being met with claims of a conflict of interest, as the mall is partially owned by Cabinet Minister Brent Simonet.
The law allows for sitting Cabinet Minister for government to be able to lease the building. We're not seeking to enrich someone who would already be rich.
Even though Simonet has declared its interest in the mall, concerns are already mounting about whether the controversial decision to lease portions of the mall represents a conflict of interest. But at least 2 cabinet ministers are defending the move, saying they had no other choice and that plans were in place for Town Center Mall even under the previous government.
We are putting this issue out there so it's fully ventilated by the Bahamian people, and they understand that we're open and very transparent with it. But we have to remember, Kyle, that we're renting this space for a concessionary rate at $12 per square foot. The going rate, the minimum government charges, is $25 a square foot, and there are buildings that government is currently renting far in excess of the $25. And so
per month, how much would that be?
We'll be getting back with those numbers.
The former government considered the Town Center Mall as a possible location for the General Post Office, but officials said at the time they were not willing to pump millions into the building on upgrades when government would not own the building at the end of the day. The Christie administration ultimately decided on the former City Market complex on Tonic Williams-Darling Highway, but those plans were axed when the Free National Movement took office last year.
The post office cannot go in any building. There are height requirements. There are space requirements. They have machines to put in. The postal boxes have to all go in. And so, just like the previous administration at some point thought that Town Center Mall was suitable, we're now thinking it is suitable.
Earlier this year, the government acquired the old Phil's Food Service building on Gladstone Road for the relocation of the post office, but later found structural issues which Wells says would cost millions to fix. For years, employees of the General Post Office have complained of substandard conditions they claim have impacted their health and safety. Last November, nearly 100 employees protested conditions at the rat and mold-infested facility. The government tabled a resolution in the House of Assembly on Wednesday seeking Parliament's approval to enter into a 5-year lease agreement with Town Center Mall for the relocation of the General Post Office, which has been condemned. Campbell, who previously had oversight of the post office, expounded on the conditions there.
I made public declaration that conditions were such that I wouldn't allow my favorite pets to be in certain parts of the post office. Concrete was falling from the ceiling. Pipes were bursting all over the place. Restrooms were not working.
Wells told Parliament landlords have agreed to rent the space to the government at $12 per square foot, something he described as far below the going commercial rates. However, political observers have pointed out that Town Center Mall, which was once a busy shopping center, has become a virtual ghost town in recent years, with only a few stores like Furniture Plus, Costrite, and Commonwealth Bank remaining open. Most of the store spaces are vacant. When asked about it today, the Prime Minister said government is being open and transparent about the situation and said Simonet would speak further about it when he contributes to the debate. Minnis also sought to use this analogy. Take a listen.
Let me ask you a simple question. If Bill Gates was a Bahamian, Microsoft was the best possible computers for your country in terms of e-Bahamas and internet system. And Bill Gates was also a member of Parliament. Would you deny the country the use of Microsoft because he's a member of Parliament when he declared, and you know that that's the best in taking you to first world status? Answer that question.
According to Minnis, Simonet was not in the room when Cabinet came to a decision. Wells agreed, saying Simonet did not take part in the discussion leading to the decision to accept the offer to lease portions of the building.
He is one of the shareholders in the town centre mall, as I understand it, and he's declared his interest. The government, the law allows for that, and the Bahamian people have to understand that.
Well, PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell in a statement accused the government of feathering the nest of Financial Services Minister Brent Simonet with the proposed 5-year lease with Town Centre Mall. Mitchell called it a shameful, naked conflict of interest that no parliamentary or constitutional device will disguise. He added that the opposition will not support this move. As for Transport Minister Ronwood Welch's assertion that the landlord is leasing the building at a low rate, Mitchell insisted that $12 per square foot is hardly concessionary when one considers how long the Town Centre Mall has sat empty with very few tenants. He added that in 5 years, government will improve the landlord's property, meaning the owner comes out ahead, but the General Post Office still won't have a permanent home. Well, the Minnis cabinet has postponed the decision on whether to approve the proposal put forward by Disney Cruise Line for a development at Lighthouse Point in South Eleuthera. Minnis had promised a decision would be made by Tuesday. Tourism Minister Dionisio Diagler told our news it was on the agenda for Tuesday's cabinet meeting, but that discussion had to be pushed back.
No. The cabinet of the Bahamas didn't see fit to discuss that at yesterday's meeting, but it's certainly on the agenda in the short term and will be discussed and I'm sure resolved at that time.
No idea how soon?
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's the joys of leadership.
The land in question does not belong to government. Disney Cruise Line reportedly already has an arrangement with the property's owner to purchase the 800 acres. However, a coalition spearheaded by the One Eleuthera Foundation has put forward another proposal in an effort to keep Lighthouse Point out of the hands of Disney. When asked where he stands on the issue as the Minister of Tourism, Diagler said this.
I have not formed an opinion yet. I have to wait for all of the information to flow in, the pros and the cons. We're receiving it all. Okay. And at this time, I'm not prepared to disclose one way or the other what I'm thinking. Once we get around the room and then we discuss and dialogue amongst ourselves, and I'm sure we'll come to a consensus. If you lean in one day, you may hear some discussions that pull you back the other way. So It's best just to leave it there right now. And I'm sure that when the government comes to a decision, the Prime Minister will speak to it.
Well, the Tourism Minister is defending his wife after a social media video showing her in an argument with a man has gone viral. Jillian Gray reports.
This wasn't a part of you.
Why are you taking out my tree?
Why you pull up my fence?
Why are you taking out my tree?
Why you pull up my fence?
Because it's on my property.
It's my land. It's my land.
Your land.
Well,
Your land, let me see your papers.
you done pull up my fence. Get the fence.
This viral video made the rounds on social media this week. Saskia Diagler, who is the wife of Tourism Minister Dionisio Diagler, is seen here arguing with a man who reportedly put up a fence around a property near her home. The land in question is located on West Bay Street, just west of Orange Hill. In the 90-second video, she alleges that the man does not have the right to do so and begins to uproot the poles he placed down.
There she goes, pulling up the fence. There she goes.
At the end of the video, both Mrs. Diagler and the man recording the video agreed to wait for officers to come to resolve the matter. We spoke to the tourism minister about the video, and he said he stands with his wife.
I am fully supportive of my wife was very upset, and good thing she was home and not me, because it may have been a different outcome. So these individuals are very aggressive, and it's very difficult for someone in my position to follow the law and to do what is right when they clearly are not.
He said he and his wife have nurtured that land for years and compared the situation to that of shanty towns.
I guess this is how shanty towns get started. And so I am very concerned that this is developing next to my home, as it would be for anybody.
Now, when we visited the land in question, we met the Chipman family, who said they are not land grabbers, and that can be proven.
The book states that it belonged to Chipmans.
So there is
yes.
evidence that this belongs to your family.
This area is known as Tucker's Estate, and the Chipman family owned the Tucker's Estate.
Some vegetation has been cleared from the front of the property to give way for the 700-foot fence. Fontella Chipman Roll said the property has been in their family for years. The Chipmans say aside from the brief confrontation with the tourism minister's wife, no one has contacted them to stop their work. In fact, when we arrived, they were working on the fence. Gregory Chipman said the fence was erected to protect the property, adding he does have a permit.
I have a permit. I have a permit. And the permit permits me to clean the land, secure the land.
So you went through the Ministry of Works and got all the proper documentation in order to do this?
Yes, legit babe. It's legitimate. The
Chipmans say they are prepared to take this land dispute to court. Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Thanks, Jillian. Well, a long-awaited study on the new tax structure for the gaming industry still hasn't been completed. Dionisio Diagler, who has ministerial responsibility for the industry, told reporters back in July that the study would take 4 to 6 weeks to complete. However, months later, still no results. He told us today he has to get confirmation on exactly where they are.
I'm actually just about to meet with to get an update from the secretary of the gaming, the acting secretary of the gaming board, Mr. Tynes. I meet with him in 5 minutes, and I understand that it's near done, but I'm not at this time 100% sure where it is. So I will find out from him.
Government and gaming house operators are currently embroiled in a court battle over a sliding scale tax and a 5% stamp tax on gaming patrons. Those controversial taxes have since been put on hold. The tourism minister had previously said he doesn't expect government to change its mind regardless of the outcome of the gaming study. Diagler refused to talk at length on the issue, saying it's now in the hands of the Attorney General.
I've done my part. It's now in the hands of the lawyers, and the lawyers are dealing with it. And they put forward a case that says that it was not ready to be rolled out, and the lawyers are dealing with it. I'm not a lawyer. That's not my job.
Baptist pastors will head to Haiti on Monday in hopes of offering some sort of relief to the areas hit hardest by the magnitude 5.9 earthquake that struck just over a week ago. The National Baptist Convention announced today that Baptist leaders from throughout the Caribbean will meet to roll up their sleeves and get to work.
After that meeting headed by the Reverend Dr. William Thompson, who's the president of the Caribbean Baptist, they will then tell all of us what it is that Haiti is in need of. How can we help as a Baptist denomination? But I'm excited as the president of the Christian Council that this denomination has already made movement and is going to move on Monday so that they can have those reports ready and we can do our part as a Christian council.
When asked what assistance the Bahamas would be providing to Haiti, the Prime Minister said he was focused on the Bahamas first, sparking outrage among Christian Council and opposition leaders. Bishop Delton Fernando admitted that at times people question the role of the Christian Council, especially when it speaks out on national issues.
Sometimes in an effort to make the church look like it doesn't do anything, people can use erroneous statements. But what we plan to do is we're going to be financial and is going to be whatever products are necessary that we have. And then through our network. As we did in the Bahamas, we had planes that flew in with supplies from Home Depot, the likes. Those are not just relative to the Bahamas. We are part of a bigger network that whatever is needed, once that report comes in, we pull on that and it will be financial.
Fire destroyed the Ministry of Education's Stores Distribution Center and all of its contents overnight. Three units from fire services were initially dispatched to the fire on Thompson Boulevard last night. However, officers called for a backup unit from the airport station. The fire continued to burn at around 9:30 this morning before it was contained. Files, office and cleaning supplies, and toiletries were among the destroyed items. Police Inspector Quincy McGregor says officers received reports of the structural fire at the ministry around 11:32 p.m.
Upon arrival, the fire department personnel would have met a split-level structure with smoke emanating from the interior. The fire at this time is being aggressively attacked by the fire department personnel and will be subsequently extinguished. The cause of this fire at this time is unknown. However, investigators are on the scene conducting further inquiries.
A team from Bahamas Power and Light was also on the scene. Smoke billowed out of the center's windows as officers fought to gain access to the building. They were eventually forced to cut the locks on a chain-link fence to get inside.
Yes, we had some challenges getting to breach certain doors, but we're successfully able to gain access to the interior of the building.
Last night's fire comes hours after a blaze ripped through John Shea Grocery Store on Carmichael Road, gutting the building and destroying its roof. Still to come, experts examine the impact of crime on tourism, plus how prison inmates are benefiting from a partnership with BTVI and BAMSI. Stay tuned.